Hey there folks, this is Ian. I'm an artist at Pingwa, and today I'm going to be showing you the basics of Krita. Krita is a free and open source digital arts program. It has many features similar to Photoshop, but it's a little more tailored towards drawing and painting. To get started, we're going to need a new document, so we're going to go to this New Document button or go to File, New. In this panel here, we have some predefined templates you can choose if you're going to be doing animation or comics or web or print design or photography, etc. Or you can go to Custom Document. In the Custom Document dialog, you have two tabs, one for dimensions to define the size and resolution of your page, and then there are some color, mode, and depth functions. And in content, there are options for naming your file, the number of starting layers, background color, and opacity, etc. In dimensions, this is largely going to depend on your output. If you're working in print, you're going to want to increase resolution probably to 300 ppi, maybe 600. If you're working digitally, keeping it at 72 is fine. For now, let's keep this as is, and we'll keep the mode in RGB alpha, and we will create a new document. Once you have your canvas here, you can scroll in and out using a middle mouse wheel, or you can use the plus and minus buttons. If you want to pan around your page, you can either use this pan button here, or you can hold the space bar, click and drag to pan your canvas around. When you first start working in Krita, this area around the edges is called your workspace. Right now I have it set up to the Big Paint 2 default, but you can change your workspace settings by using this workspace button up in the top right corner. When you click it, it pulls out a rollout menu, and there are various options. This is an animation workflow. It has a timeline at the bottom. It has some playback controls and things you won't need if you're doing comics or if you're doing graphics for a game. I'm going to switch back to Big Paint 2 right now, and I'm just going to click outside of that to close it. Now, all of these panels that it's set along the sides are called dockers, and all of these dockers can be rearranged. They have some handles on the sides that you can resize the panels. You can drag them down. Some of my tools are missing here, or you can click on the Docker name and drag it completely away, stick it to the top, stick it to the side, the bottom, wherever you'd like. You can even add it into a panel by highlighting it like this, letting go, and now it becomes a tab. And you can rearrange those tabs. All of this is very customizable. If you want to get options that you don't currently see on the screen, we can go up to Settings and Dockers, and this is the full list of docking panels that you can add to your user interface. The toolbox shown up here in the upper left houses all of your work tools, and they're all organized into different sections. The first section are vector tools. Krita does have some limited vector functionality, and you can access these tools by making a new vector layer. For that, you'll go into your Layers panel, go to the New Layers button, the drop down beside it. These are the different types of layers that Krita can produce, and you're going to want a vector layer if you want access to those tools. The next layer are paint tools. You have your brushes, lines, shapes, Bezier curves, paths, and multi-brush that you can use. All of these will work with the current foreground, background, color settings, or if you've set up patterns up here, you can also draw in patterns. The next set houses some transformation tools. We have a transform tool, move, and a crop tool. Then we have some colors here. We can define gradients, you can select colors, you can edit color masks, you can use a smart patch tool, kind of like a healing brush, and you can flood fill. The next set of tools are guides. You have some guides on the assistant tool that will help you draw in perspective. You have some measuring tools, so you can measure distances on the canvas. and reference image tools, which will allow you to pin images on top of the screen so you can work from them. The selection tools are fairly standard: rectangular, circular marquees, polylines, freeform, a magic wand tool, a color selection replacement tool, and a Bezier curve selection tool. The last two are the zoom in and pan tools that we've already covered. When you select any of these tools in the toolbox, you'll notice in the tool options panel, you have various options that will change and you can adjust. Drag this up so you can see all of it. So if I just take the transform tool, this will allow me to snap those transformations to a side. I can choose to change the position, rotate, scale, or shear. I can choose how the filtering is handled. I can get very granular if I want to. If I go into the gradient tool, I'll have different options for those, and so on. When you use the brush tool, in addition, your tool options are fairly simple. This just relates to smoothing. But in the top bar here, this is where you can find your other tool settings. If you click on your brush settings, you can see all of the settings for the currently selected brush, and you can change them. You can make new brushes, you can make copies of brushes. Your brush preset panel has a whole bunch of tool presets for drawing. Let's take this basic brush number 5 for now. If you're using a tablet input device, you can access pressure sensitivity. I'm going to set default colors here. Control Z as usual will undo. You can also use the buttons at the top. Undo and redo, these back and forward arrows. When you're working in Krita, all of the brushes will have an eraser mode, which you can toggle off or on with this second button here. And it keeps the same settings on your brush, but it just removes pixels rather than adding them. You can set the blending mode. You can reset defaults. This checkerboard right here is a preserve alpha button. I'll show you how that works. So say I have an area that I've drawn on a layer. If I check preserve alpha and I want to edit this layer, I can choose a different color. If I draw, my drawing is going to be constrained to the pixels I've already put down, almost like color masking. I can adjust the size and the opacity here. In addition, you can drop these down and you can adjust the flow. We also have some mirroring tools. If we turn those on, the vertical mirror or the horizontal mirror, or we can turn them both on at the same time. This is really cool if you want to make some like mandala effects, Rorschach blots, etc. Krita does a fairly decent job of simulating real-world materials. Here we have like a light pencil, like a number 2 brush we can get if we're using multiple pencils. Really nice ink. Quill pen with a little bit of texture. And there's a whole lot of presets that you can find already in the program. In addition, the community has made resource packs that you can download and add to Krita. So for now, that's the basics of how the program functions. I would suggest taking some time just to acquaint yourself with the tools. The online manual for Krita is available at krita.org. I'll put a link to it in the video description, and you can learn more about each of the individual tools in detail. Until then, play around with it, practice with it, and keep drawing.
Bingoa.